How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we stand Daf Peites, Daf 89 of Masechta Gittin. Friends, second to last Daf of Masechta Gittin. Friends, this Daf, the thing about this Daf is it feels like it shouldn't be super hard, but I have a feeling it's going to take us a long time. It's something funny about this Daf. I don't know why. It feels like it should kind of move, but it also took a really long time to learn, and it took a really long time to review today. I don't know, it's probably going to take a while. But anyways, it talks about the sugya of an amasla. Amaslas must have come up before in the past. Who could tell me what an amasla is? An amasla is be'etzim, I think the art school defines it as a mitigating reason or something. Is it an alibi? What's an alibi? An amasla is explanation, so to speak, I don't really know how to define it, but I guess a mitigating factor maybe is what the art scroll said. Okay, we're going to learn about the sugyas of amaslas. So that's really the main sugya of today. And kol, right, rumors, yentis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon. So that's the today's sugya. Okay, we're going to start in Daf Peiches Amud Beis at the Mishnah, about 10 lines from the bottom. Yotza Shma, what's the deal with this? 1 second. The microphone wires, the shtickle driving me nuts, but alright, let me tell you. So Yotza Shma Ba'ir Mikudeshes. So if there's rumors in the city that a certain fella is Mikudeshes, how is a Mikudeshes? Okay, so if the Yentis are saying that she's engaged, so she's engaged. Migoreshes, Areza Migoreshes. If the Yentis on the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon, Dai Kokaman, low fat maldo bread, and they're talking that so and so is divorced, well, she must be divorced. Vavachlo Yesham Amasla, as long as there's no Amasla, as long as there's no mitigating factor, as long as there's no, let's say this, as long as there's no reason to assume otherwise. Ezri Amasla, what would be an example of a reason to assume otherwise? Gerish ish plonias ishto al tanai. Well, for example, if the rumor is that so and so divorced his wife, but there was a condition involved. Well, in that case, if it's clear that there was a condition involved, so we don't know was the condition implemented or not. So if that's the case, they might not actually be divorced, depending on if the condition was implemented. Zark la kidushel, or for example, right? He threw the kesef kiddushin to her. Safik karuv la, but we don't know, was it closer to her? Was it closer to him? So again, built into the rumor is a mitigating factor. No, that's not what I want to say. Is a reason to assume otherwise. Was that what I said? So Zoe amasla, that's what's considered an amasla, a reason to assume otherwise, and therefore, and in that case, we don't actually rely upon the rumor, because the rumor itself kind of is questionable. Okay. 1 second. The Yentis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon, they're sitting in the circle on the beach chairs, on the grass, on the lawn. They have Diet Coke, they have low-fat maldo bread, they have everything they need, and they're talking. They say, Ruvain divorced his wife, Sarah. Ruvain's a Kohen. Sarah can't be with him anymore because there's rumors that she's divorced, and Grusha can't be with a Kohen. Well, just because the Yentis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon are talking, now they can't remain married. But we saw the other day that Rav Ashi says that any any rumors after marriage, we don't listen to them. So what do you mean? Also, there's rumors that this couple is divorced. Now they can't be together anymore. If the rumor is in the city or that she's engaged, so she's engaged. Mikudeshes umigoreshes. If the Yentis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon are saying that she got engaged and she also got divorced. Wow, that must be a fun topic for them to talk about. So in that case, they are divorced. My time I call Vishover Imo. How come? Because built into the rumor, right, together with the rumor, was the reason to believe otherwise. Was that what I had said? The reason? Okay, the nullification of it, right? right? There was the rumor that she's engaged, but immediately together baked into the rumor is that she's also divorced. So in that case, that is where we believe that she is divorced. But if the Yentis and the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon just decide to say, or they heard from someone that this couple is divorced, that is not going to mean that they can't be together anymore just because the Yentis said so. On my Rav, says Rav, Yotzala Shem Mizana Ba'ir. If there's rumors, the Yentis, this is a daf all about the Yentis and the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon. What do you want me to tell you? So the Yentis are saying that this girl is a zona. Says Rashi, Shem Mizana La'ovi Kochavim La'evet Sheposa Nosum Nakuna, that she had bia with an Ovid Kochavim or with an Eved, and now she can't marry a Kohen. Ein Choshishin La, says Rav, forget about the Yentis. We're not concerned about them. My time of Pritzusa Ba'alma Hu Dechazula. They just saw, they didn't actually see her at bia with the Ovid Kochavim, with the Eved. They maybe they didn't approve of her behavior, but what's that? That doesn't say much. Yentis don't approve of any behavior other than what they're comfortable with, and they're comfortable with only what they're told they should be comfortable with. Anything other than that, you see, the way it works with the Yentis, let me tell you something. The way it works with the Yentis and the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon, as long as they don't see it, it doesn't matter. When they see you, you need to look the way that they want you to look, and you need to behave the way they want you to behave, and then they'll leave you alone. Go fly to the Bahamas, do whatever you want. That if it's out of sight, it doesn't matter. But if they see you, you have to be wearing a suit and a tie and a black hat. Okay. And then you're good. You get a shidduch. Go to the Bahamas, do whatever you want. Okay. Now, where are we? So where are we? Okay, the Yentis in the bungalow colony Shabbos afternoon, tight, coke, low fat, mandel bread. Alright. Now, where are we? Okay, so Pritzusa Ba'amu Udechazula. No, the Yentis in the bungalow colony Shabbos afternoon, they got carried away. This girl was, didn't look the way they wanted her to look, or maybe she took it worse, but they don't know for sure that she had beer. So let's not get carried away with the Yentis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon. Kitanoi. And this is like a machlokas tanoim of, do we trust these rumors or not? Ochla bashuk. If you have a woman who's eating in the shuk. This is, by the way, I think in Masechta Kiddushin this comes up, right? People that eat in the shuk. This I think my whole sort of thing against the sunflower people, I think really comes from this concept. I think it's really Masechta Kiddushin, I think is where I remember it from. I think maybe somebody who eats in the shuk is like Migas Eruach. I'm not into like eating outside. I'm not into walking around and eating. I think it comes from here. I'm definitely not into sunflower seeds spitting. All right. So if Ochla b'shuk, if she's eating in the shuk, Girgura b'shuk, or she's walking around, like she owns the place in the shuk. Henika b'shuk, if she nurses a baby in the shuk. B'chulan, regarding all of these, Rav Meir Omer Teitze. Meir says, look, she's acting inappropriate. You can assume that she had a non-acceptable relationship, and they cannot remain married. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Misha Yisu Vitnuma Mozos Balavona. Rabbi Akiva says that it's only an issue if the Mozos Balavona are talking about it. Who's the Mozos Balavona? How about this, Chaver? Rashi explains who the Mozos Balavona is. Let's see if you could figure it out based on Rashi's explanation. In the second line of Rashi, thin line of Rashi, Mozos Balavona, Noshim, women, Yentis, Hatovos Bashuk, who are spinning, I don't know what they're spinning, threads, in the market, L'or Alavona, to the light of the moon, V'darkan Lasuach Sichos Betelos, and they normally just talk about silly things, and to talk about all of the suspicions, all of the gossip in the city. Sounds like the Yentis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon to me. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says to Rabbi Akiva, what, you're leaving everybody's fate up to the Yentis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon? There's not going to be any daughter of Abraham who's going to be able to remain with her husband. if we're leaving everybody's fate up to the entis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon, we're in trouble. After all, the Torah says that if a husband finds an ervas dover, now when it comes to divorce, in order to have grounds for divorce, it has to be a dover borer. It has to be something clear. Not that we're not leaving people's marriages in the hands of the yentis in the bungalow colony on Shabbos afternoon. There would have to be, proper evidence and proper testimony that there is actually a problem. Okay. Yeah, this is a slow-moving daf. We're already 10 minutes into the daf, and we're really just getting started. I don't know what it is about this daf. Like, there's nothing hard particularly about this daf. It's like slow. I don't know why. Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, Be'ula, ein choshin la. If there's rumors that she's not a Basula, she's a Be'ula, and therefore she can't marry a Kohen Gadol, we don't listen to those rumors. Nisua ein choshin la. If there are rumors that she's been married for a while already, we don't listen to those rumors. Arusa ein choshin la. That she's engaged, our Mishnah talks about if there are rumors that she got engaged today, but if there are rumors that she got engaged a while ago, we don't listen to those rumors. Shelo lefloni. If there are rumors that she got engaged, but it doesn't say who she got engaged to, ein choshin la, then we don't pay attention to those rumors. Be'ir acheres, right? If in this city they're spreading rumors that she got engaged, but in a different city, ein choshin la, we don't listen to those rumors. Mamzeres, ein choshin la. If the rumors are that she's a mamzeres, we don't pay attention to those rumors. Shifcha, ein choshin la. If there's rumors that she's a shifcha, a maidservant, I guess that would probably be a shifcha amo ivria, I guess, because I think we're talking about a Jewish girl. Hikdish ploni nechosov, hifkir ploni nechosov. If there's rumors that so and so was makdish all of his property to the Beis Hamikdash, or that he made all of his property hefker, ein choshin la. We don't listen to that rumor to make this fellow's property forbidden to him. Oh, my Ula says, Ula lo sheshamu kol avar. When we're talking about these rumors, we're not just talking about stam rumors. Okay? Elekadeshu neiris dolkis. You walk by the house and there are candles lit, right? Meaning, we're not talking about stam, you heard a rumor that so-and-so got engaged. It's a little bit more than that. You heard a rumor that so-and-so got engaged. You walk by the family's house, and sure enough, it definitely seems like she did get engaged. There are candles lit in the house. Umitos mutzos, and all the beds are made. Uvne adam nichnosin v'yotzin, and there are people, they're coming into the house, they're leaving the house. When they come in, they're sober. When they leave, they're fashnikit. V'omim plonis miskadeshes hayom, and they're saying that, so-and-so is going to get engaged today. Miskadeshes. When she's going to get engaged. What if she doesn't get engaged? So ema plonis niskadsha yom, no, that she did get engaged today. So meaning, if you're hearing rumors that a certain fella got engaged today, you walk by the house and it definitely seems like, there's a simcha going on. There's people going in and singing and dancing and getting lebedik and fashnikit. V'chein tani Levi. And also Levi taught, lo sheyishmeu kol avara, not just stama rumor. Elakadeshu neiris dolkis. You walk by the house and the candles are lit. Umitos mutzos, and the beds are made. V'noshim tovus la'or aner, and the women are spinning stuff to the light of candles. V'smeichos la, and they're happy for this fella. V'omris, and they're saying plonis miskadeshes hayom, and they're saying that this fella is getting engaged today. Miskadeshes, what if she's getting engaged? V'dumalo ikacha, what if she doesn't get engaged? Amar pape ema plonis niskacha hayom. Say that this fella got engaged today. Okay. Rabbi Bachana, Rabbi Yechanan, lo sheshamu kol avar, not just that they heard stam a rumor, ela kadeshu neiris dolkis, that there are candles lit in the house, umitos mutzos, and the beds are made of adam nichnosim v'yotzin, and the people are coming in, coming out. Now, here we go. Amru dover, if they said epis, zehu kol, this is the rumor that we trust. Lo amru dover, if they didn't say epis, zehu amasla, this is an amasla, this is a mitigating factor, this is a reason to believe otherwise. Lo amru, what are you talking about? They didn't say anything. Lo amru, if they didn't say anything, they didn't say anything. Velo klum. La'afukum de Rabba bar Rav Huna. It's the exclusion of Rabba bar Rav Huna to Amar Amasla Shamar Afilu Mikan Bad Yud Yomim. That Rabba bar Rav Huna, as we're going to see on Daf Peites Amud Beis. Don't worry, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll have to clarify in a minute. This Gemara does not read smoothly at all. That Rabba bar Rav Huna says that the Amasla, you can make the Amasla of up to 10 days. Kamashbul, and therefore it's teaching us Lo Amru, that if they didn't say it definitively, Hu da Avya Amasla, then it's an Amasla Amru, but if they said it definitively, Lo Avya Amasla, it's not an Amasla. What in the heck did we just read? Okay, it's not that complicated, it just doesn't read well at all. Basically what it's saying is that if it's a definitive rumor, right? This fella got engaged. So then that's it. That's a rumor, and we trust the rumor, and we assume that she's engaged. If the rumor, however, is not absolute, rather if the rumor is this fella got engaged besofik, and we're not sure, well then that's the amasla, right? And we would not assume that she's engaged. And that's all it's saying. That meaning, if they say explicitly that if the rumor is explicit that she's engaged, so then we assume that she is engaged. If the rumor is that she's besofik engaged, that she's maybe engaged, well then that's an amasla, and we do not assume that she's engaged. And the point of this is the exclusion of Rabbi bar Rav Huna, who said that the amasla can even come up to 10 days later. Right? But we're saying that over here, no. For the amasla to be an amasla, a reason to believe otherwise, it would have to be built into the rumor itself. It can't come 10 days later. If built into the rumor itself is that she's only engaged besofik, then it's an amasla. We don't assume that she's engaged. But if the rumor itself is that she's definitely engaged, well then she's engaged, and too late. There's no option for an amasla. So let's read that again. It doesn't read so smoothly. Let's back up a few lines. I hope you find it. It's about 10 lines before it gets wide. A third word on the line. Amru davar, that if they said Amru davar, meaning, it's hard to read this but anyways, Amru davar, if they, I'll try to read it this way. Amru davar, if they said explicitly that she is engaged, so Zehu Kol, so that's the rumor, and we assume that she's engaged. Lo Amru davar, so for now let's explain it as meaning if they didn't say anything, Zehu Amasla, then this is a reason to believe otherwise. Lo Amru davar, what do you mean if they didn't say anything? V'lo Amru v'lo B'klum, they didn't say anything, so why should we assume that it's an Amasla? They didn't say anything. Okay, now, remember, it's like I said a minute ago, that if it was definitive that the rumor is that she's engaged, well then she's engaged. If the rumor is that she's engaged besofik, well then that's the amasla, and we assume that she's not engaged. La'afuke midu Rabba bar Rav Huna, to the exclusion of Rabba bar Rav Huna, the Amar, who said amasla sha'amru, that when we talk about this amasla, afilu mikan ba'ad yud yomim, can even be 10 days later, to which we're saying no. Kamash malan lo amru, kamash malan lo. What? Kamash malan lo amru hu davya amasla, that only when the rumor itself is not definitive. If the rumor is that she's engaged misafek, well then that is an amasla and she's not engaged. Ha'amru, we don't assume that she's engaged. Ha'amru, but if they said explicitly that she is engaged, lo havya amasla, then there cannot be an opportunity for an amasla anymore. If the statement initially was definitive that she's engaged, there's no longer an opportunity for an amasla, and certainly not 10 days later. The amasla would have to be built into the rumor itself that she's engaged misafek. That's when there is an amasla. Amar Reb Abba, Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav, lo sheshamu kol avara. Okay, the rumor is not just stam a rumor. Ela kadei sheyomru ploni meheichon shama. It's that they say, well, who did you hear the rumor from? Mi ploni. Well, we heard the rumor from so-and-so. Floni mi ploni, and so-and-so heard this rumor from so-and-so. Uvotkin b'hochin, and we investigate the matter. Achimagin ledavar abarur, until we have clarity, until we know for sure that this event really took place and that this girl is engaged. Davar abarur edus ma'al yisai. Well, if we know with certainty, if we're investigating until we know with certainty that this girl is engaged, well then it's not a rumor anymore. It's just it's certainty, right? It's edus, it's testimony. She's definitely engaged. So Ela Kiyasa Rav Shmuel bar Yehuda Amar Reb Abba Amar Rav Huna Amar Rav Lo sheshamu kol avara. Okay, we're not just talking about a rumor. Elo kidei sheyomru. Rather, they'll say ploni meheichon shama. Where did so and so hear this rumor? Mi ploni. He heard it from so and so. Floni mi floni. And so heard it from so and so. So we know that that there were witnesses who definitely witnessed the engagement, but they're on vacation. And therefore, that is the rumor. It's a rumor because we can't definitively prove it because the witnesses are on vacation, but we say that so-and-so heard from so-and-so who heard from the witnesses themselves who happen to be on vacation. So it's not definitive because we don't have, they're on vacation. They're not here right now to confirm, but it would be considered a rumor that we can rely upon. Abai asks Rav Yosef, so if there is a rumor, can we be mevatel the rumor or not? Omar Lei, so Rav Yosef answers, Rav Chizda says, that you have to hear the rumor from somebody kosher, implying that that dafka would have to be from somebody kosher. Otherwise, we don't. Otherwise, we cannot rely upon. Right? Meaning, by default, we cannot rely upon this kol until we hear from somebody kosher. And if we hear from somebody kosher, so then we can rely upon it. But if it turns out that it's not true, so then we will be mavatal the kol. We'll be mavatal the rumor. So we see we can be mavatal a rumor. So Abai pushes back. He says, wait, I'll say fakert. From the fact that Sheshes says, that even if the rumor comes from the women, it would be considered a rumor. That means we're not mavatal a kala, we're not mavatal a rumor. A rumor is valid, and that's that. So Amar Lei, so Rav Yosef responds, Asarvos Ninu, that look, it's a location specific thing. Besura mevatal kala, in Surah, where I guess Rav Chizda was in Surah, so they were mevatal kala. Ben Arda, but I guess Rav Sheshes was in Arda. I didn't know that. Lo mevatal kala, they were not mevatal kala. In Arda, they were not mevatal rumors. There was a certain fella that there was rumors that she got engaged to a certain yeshiva student. Asi Rav Chama le'avua, so Rav Chama came and so Rav Chama brought the girl's father to him. Omar Lei, and Rav Chama, where am I? Yes, so Rav Chama says to her father, tell me exactly what happened. Omar Lei, so the father says, Al Tanai Kodesh, that this young yeshiva student was mekadesh my daughter with a condition that we're engaged under the condition that I don't go to Beit Chozai, but he went to Beit Chozai, therefore they're not engaged anymore. Omar Lei, Rav Chama says, he says, look, you're telling me this reason to believe otherwise now, this amasla now, but since at the time that the rumor originated, there was no amasla with it. It was simply this girl got engaged. Lav kol kaminach de machzekas amasla. I can't simply trust you that there was in fact an amasla. Idinofak alla kala de ikadsha ba'atzifa de suchla. There was a rumor that a certain girl got engaged with, like, if you have a date and you take out the pit and there's a shtickle date still on the pit. So the shaila is that a shvei pruta or not? So the rumor is that this girl got engaged with basically a date pit that had some date fruit still on it. Be'ena de Beishife, in the spring of Beishife. Shalcha Rav Idi bar Oven lekami da Abai. So Rav Idi bar Oven sends to Abai ki agav namai. What do we say, right? There's a rumor that she got engaged with this date pit, date fruit stuff. Do we assume that she is engaged or not? So Amar Leisa Abai says, Afilu luman do Amar lo mevatlin an kala, even according to the opinion that we do not undo a rumor, beha mevatlin an kala. In this case, we certainly do undo the rumor, because Meimer Amre, we could say, no, she's not engaged, and the people will just say, because what was the rumor? The rumor was that she got engaged with a date pit, essentially. So the people are just going to say, yeah, I guess they're actually not engaged. Yeah, the thing sounded strange anyways. Inu b'hu rabbanan, the rabbis must have checked out the situation with the kiddushin v'lo hava b'hu shvei pruta. It turned out that the date pit wasn't actually worth a shvei pruta. Yeah, it seemed weird anyways. Right? So therefore, because kind of built into the rumor was that she got engaged using like this date pit that still had some like date on it, which is a weird thing to begin with. So we could say that you could be mevatel that rumor according to everybody, because the people will just say, oh yeah, I guess that date pit wasn't actually worth anything. And there was a fella that there was a rumor about her, that she got engaged to one of so-and-so's kids. We don't know which one. Even according to the opinion that in general we are not mevatel a rumor, but over here we could be mevatel this rumor, because Meimar Amar inu bu rabbanon b'kiddushay ka'in havu. Since it's unclear who she actually got engaged to, right? It says she got engaged to one of the kids of this family. So, okay, the whole rumor itself was kind of vague, and they're just going to say, oh, I guess the rabbis must have looked into it, and turned out that who was she engaged to? Engaged to a minor. She can't get engaged to a minor, and that's why it's not actually kiddushin. There was a fella that there was a rumor about her, that she got engaged to a minor who looks like an adult, but he's nonetheless a minor. So Mordechai says to Rav Ashi, Ava uvda, there was episamaisa that this happened. When they said, Adain lo egila leflagus ruven, shnem leflagus ruven gedolim chikrei leiv. That it's a drush on the pasuk. It says leflagus ruven gedolim chikrei leiv. That a gadol, an adult, has chikrei leiv, has sort of the intellect, right? Has intellect, and you need intellect in order to get married. Right? You have to have das in order to get an understanding, in order to get married. And only gedolim chikrei leiv, only an adult has this understanding, and therefore a young fellow, even if he's a big guy, if he's a minor, he doesn't have this understanding. And therefore, if the rumor is that she got engaged to a young fellow who looks big, it's not really going to help, because he's, at the end of the day, a young fellow. So the Mishnah had said, right, that the kiddushin, right, if there's a rumor that a certain fellow got engaged, so the rumor is valid as long as there isn't any reason to believe otherwise. Omer, Rabbi by Rav Huna, says Rabbi Rav Huna amasla she'omer, as we saw earlier, that this amasla, afilu mikan bar asar yom, can even be up to 10 days later. Rav Zvid Omar b'makoim amasla choshishin la'amasla. So it says Rav Zvid that even if there is a potential for a reason to assume otherwise, so we rely upon that potential. So if you simply hear a rumor that a certain fella got engaged, but we could think of reasons why maybe it's untrue, why maybe that's not the case, so we can rely upon those reasons and assume that she is not engaged. Our Mishnah had said that only if there is an explicit amasla do we discard the rumor. But short of an explicit amasla, we regard the rumor. We accept, we rely upon the rumor. And therefore, we don't say that, well, since we could think up a potential rumor, a potential amasla, we don't say that, we don't take potential amaslas into account. It would have to be a full blow, an actual amasla. Amalei, so Zvira responds, bimakom amasla kamar. No, what it's saying is that if there is a potential for an amasla, so then we could disregard the rumor. Amalei Rav Kahana Rav Papa. But now Rav Kahana says to Rav Papa, V'atlo tizbra, but Rav Papa, don't you agree? Don't you agree that even a potential amasla we should consider? V'otnan, but we learn in a Mishnah, Imesechta Yevamis, regarding a woman whose husband went traveling someplace, and a witness comes and testifies that he ended up in Wellwood. So we learn in a Mishnah, Niskadsha, that if she gets betrothed to another man, right? A witness told her that her husband's in Wellwood, so she gets betrothed to another fellow. And then her husband comes. Apparently he wasn't in Wellwood. Muteres lachzor, she's allowed to go back to her original husband, even though she already accepted kesef kiddushin. Lav mishum da'minon al t'nai kodesh. Is it not because we, consider in a masla, even though, we there's a potential for an amasla, and therefore we act upon that potential. What was the potential amasla? The potential was that we assume that the husband had made a condition with his wife that if I don't come back, then we are divorced. And it must be that when this wife then got engaged to this other fellow, we're saying that she must have gotten engaged with a t'nai that if her husband does end up coming back, so then actually she won't be engaged to the second fellow, and that's why she can go back to her original husband. So we say that must be the reason why she's allowed to go back to her original husband, because since there's a potential for an explanation, we use that potential explanation. So therefore we should say the same thing here by these rumors, that if there is a potential explanation for why the rumor is invalid, we should rely upon that potential explanation. 1 second, is it my seat? Somebody came to clean today, and they may have moved around the chairs. My chair might be squeaky. I don't think it's as squeaky as the other one though. So shiny also. So Gemara says, no, that has nothing to do with the potential amasla. The osi ba'al v'kol ma'ar, that's a completely different thing. It has nothing to do with divorce. That has to do with the fact that she got engaged to this fellow because she thought her husband was dead. And then it turned out that her husband was alive, which means that she was actually never separated from her husband. She was married the whole time. There was no business getting engaged to the second guy. She was still married to the first guy. He was alive. She didn't know that. That's why she can go back to him. But if that's the case, then even if she got married to the second guy, not just engaged, but if she got married to the second guy, and then the first husband shows up, which means he was alive the whole time, which means that she was married to him the whole time, and therefore she was never actually married to the second guy, why can't she go back to her first husband? Well, Ni says the of the Isura Kansura Rabbanon. Well, since when she actually gets married and she's doing an Isura, the Isura though, I think that the Isura is that she's getting married to another man while still being married to the first man, because she thought he was dead. Kansur Rabbanan, the rabbis find her. If you remember from Masechta Yivamis, right, the whole point was that the rabbis wanted to make sure that she was going to do her research thoroughly and properly to make sure that her husband is actually dead, right? Meaning, right, in order, right, to allow her to get remarried and not be stuck, we rely upon one witness, but we tell her, look, you can rely upon this one witness to assume that your husband is dead, you can get remarried, but you better make sure to do your research, because if your husband comes back, it turns out that he's alive, you can't stay with either one. You can't be with your new husband, and you can't be with your old husband. So when it comes to Nisuin, where she does an Isser, I assume it's the Isser of marrying the second guy while still married to the first guy. So the rabbis fine her and say, hey, you better make sure that your first husband is really dead before marrying the second one. And if he turns out that he's alive, you can't be married to either one of them. Niskadsha, but accepting Kesef Kiddushin to Lo'avda Isur, she didn't actually do anything wrong. She didn't have, an extramarital relationship. She didn't get married to anybody else while still married to the first person. Lo Konsu, all she did was accept Kesef Kiddushin. Lo Konsu Rabbanon, and she can go back to the original husband, but it has nothing to do with a potential amasla. Fine. I think that there's some noise going on outside. 1 second. Let me see if there is. So I don't have to be wondering if there's noise or not. It sounds like there's something going on outside, but I'm just going to, of course, channel my inner Yanki Lazar, and we're going to go weiter. Amar Rav Ashi, says Rav Ashi, Kol kala d'lo ischazik bebeidino lav kalahu. Stam is a rumor that hasn't been corroborated, I guess, in Bezdin, validated in Bezdin. We cannot rely upon such a rumor. V'amar Rav Ashi, says Rav Ashi, Kol kala d'basar nisuin lo chashinan le. Any rumors that circulate after the couple has already been married, we don't listen to it. But rumors after engagement, after betrothal, which of course in 2 days we're going to start Masechta Kiddushin, which talks all about that. About betrothal, erusin. So chashinan lei. So any rumors after erusin we would pay attention to. Rav Chaviva Omar afilu debasar erusin nami lo chashinan lei. Even rumors after erusin we do not listen to. Vilchso lo chashinan lei. The halacha is that we do not listen to rumors after Erisin. Amr of Yirmiyah bar Abba, says Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba, Sholchu lemi be Rab. I think it means that they sent for the Beis Medrash of Rab, because Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba was a student of Rab. So I think what he's saying is that they sent for the Beis Medrash of Rab. L'shmuel to Shmuel, Yilamdenu Rabbeinu, teach us the halacha, Yatsa alea kol merishin. If there was a rumor that a certain fella got engaged to Reuven, there was a rumor that she got engaged to Reuven. Uva acher v'kidsha kiddushay Torah. But then Shimon came and was mekadesh her with witnesses. So here, now you have this woman, there's a rumor that she's engaged to Reuven, but there's real witnesses who say that she's engaged to Shimon. So now what do we do? Are those witnesses stronger than the rumor with Reuven? How does that work? Ma'u, what's the halacha? Shalachlu. So Shmuel sent to them, Teitzei, she shouldn't remain with either one of them. V'hamidu adavra aburyo, and investigate the matter to figure out what happened. V'odiuni, and tell me what you find. Ma'i, no, what exactly is he saying? Ilema, if what Shmuel is saying is De'i migal yo milsa de kiddushe de kamalav kiddushe ma'al yoninu, that if it turns out that the rumor about the kiddushin to Reuven turns out to be untrue, mivatlin on kala, and therefore will disregard the rumor, and therefore she'll be married to Shimon. V'hanarda asri de Shmuel V'lo mevatli kala, but we know that in Nahar they aren't mevatel rumors, and Nahar is where Shmuel was, which means memele, right? Shmuel was not mevatel rumors, and therefore it can't be that the point of the investigation was that if you find that the rumor that she was engaged to Reuven was untrue, so then we'll disregard it. But I mean, Shmuel doesn't disregard rumors. So Ella, the imigalya milso the kiddushe kama kiddushe ma'alya ninhu. Rather, it's that if it turns out that the kiddushin to Reuven was in fact kiddushin, well, lo tzricha get misheni. Well, then she won't need a get from Shimon, because Shimon wasn't actually mekadesh her, since she was already betrothed to Reuven. Ufliga de Rav Huna, and this argues on Rav Huna, the Amr Rav Huna, that says Rav Huna Eishes Ish, Shepashta Yada V'Kibla Kiddushin, that if you have an Eishes Ish who accepts Kesef Kiddushin from somebody else, Kesef Kiddushin Me'acher, and she accepts Kiddushin from somebody else, Mikudeshes, she's betrothed to that second person. Midrav Huna, based on Rav Huna, Midrav Amnuna, Damar Rav Amnuna, Ha'isha She'amar Levaila, that if a woman says to her husband, Gerashtani, you divorced me, Ne'emenes, she's believed Chazaka in Isha Me'izo Paneh B'fnei Baila, that she wouldn't be so brazen as to lie right to her husband's face to say that he divorced her if he did not, and therefore if she says to her husband, you divorced me, then we assume that she is divorced. And based on that, if a woman accepts Kesef Kiddushin from somebody else, somebody who we thought she was a married woman, but she accepts Kesef Kiddushin from somebody else, basically what she is saying is that she isn't actually married to the first person, and she's therefore married. She's betrothed now to the second person. Whereas they asked Shmuel, and what Shmuel is saying is that if there's a rumor that she is married, that she was engaged to Reuven, and it turns out to be true, and then she accepts Kesef Kiddushin from Shimon, Shmuel is saying that she does not need a get from Shimon. That would be different than what Rav Huna says, which is that if a married woman accepts Kesef Kiddushin from somebody else, it's proper Kesef Kiddushin. Ve'idach, but whereas we, who say that she would not need a get from Shimon, because it's irrelevant, Kitma de Rav Amnuna b'fanav, that when Rav Amnuna says his concept that she wouldn't be so brazen as to say to her husband, you divorced me, if he did not, Shalo b'fanav me'iza, that's only in his presence. She wouldn't be so brazen right in front of him to look him in the eyes and say, you divorced me, if it's untrue. But here, it wasn't in his presence. She didn't accept the Kesef Kiddushin from Shimon in front of the Eidim when Reuven was there. And therefore, the concept of Rav Nuna about being so brazen doesn't apply, and the Kesef Kiddushin that she received from Shimon is irrelevant. Lo matzu davar al buryo mahu. What if in that case they couldn't actually get down to the bottom of it, right? Shmuel says, right, meaning it was a case where there was rumors that she was betrothed to Reuven, but then Shimon gave her kesef kedushin in front of witnesses. So Shmuel says, go and get investigate and get to the bottom of it. Lo matzu davar buryo mahu. What if they couldn't get to the bottom of it? So Rav Huna says, Megarish Rishon Vinose Sheni. So says Rav Huna, what you do is she divorces Reuven, Vinose Sheni, and marries Shimon. Ava Megarish Sheni Vinose Rishon Lo, but she would be unable to divorce Shimon, to get divorced from Shimon, and then marry Reuven. My time will come, because we'll say that Machzor Grushasu Min Erisin is okay. Meaning what people might say is that meaning if we're saying that there was rumors that she was engaged to Reuven, and then Shimon was Mekadesh her in front of witnesses, and we said that if she divorces Shimon, and then goes back to Reuven, people might say that, well, Reuven had already divorced her. She then accepted Kesef Kiddushin meaning she was betrothed to Reuven. Now, a betrothed woman needs to get a get in order to get separated. So she got a get from Reuven. She then accepted Kesef Kiddushin from Shimon. Now she's getting a get from Shimon and she's going back to Reuven. Now that's not allowed because that's called Machzor Grushaso. Right? She's getting a get from Shimon, she's going back to Reuven. That's Machzor Grushaso. Right? Reuven divorced her and then she married somebody else. In the meantime, she can't go back to Reuven anymore. So therefore, she'd be unable to divorce Shimon and go back to Reuven because people might think that Machzor Grushaso from Erisin is okay. Rav Shisha Brei Davidi Omar Af Megarish Sheni Vinose Rishon. Rav Shisha Brei Davidi says that no, she can even divorce Shimon and go back to Reuven. Meimer Amrei Aine Rabbanim B'Kiddushay Taos Hava. Period. Because what the people will say, no, what must have happened is that the rabbis looked into it and she was never actually divorced from Reuven, which means that the Kiddushin that she received from Shimon is irrelevant, and therefore she was never actually engaged to Shimon, and therefore she can go back to Reuven. What if they were not, right? In the case that we had up until now, there were rumors from Reuven, but the Kiddushin from Shimon was real. But what if there were rumors from both of them? There were rumors that she was engaged to Reuven, and there was rumors that she was engaged to Shimon. So Omer Rav Papa says Rav Papa, Avzo Megarish Rishon V'Nosei Sheni. So here also divorce Reuven and then marry Shimon. Ameimar Omer says Ameimar Mutaris L'Shneim. She could do whatever she wants, right? Divorce Reuven and marry Shimon. Divorce Shimon, marry Reuven. V'Ochsa Mutaris L'Shneim. The halacha is that in this case she can choose whichever she wants. Wow. Friends, that was not a super easy daf, although I don't think it ended up being super long, but it wasn't so easy. It was this whole concept of rumors and maslas and how those things work. And, all right. Friends, stay tuned for tomorrow. We're going to learn the last daf of Masechta Gittin, which is very exciting stuff. Peace out.